Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So this story is about when I saw my friend literally dating his own sister. And it gets really awkward, so trust me, if you guys don't have a strong stomach, I don't think you should watch this video. But if you do watch the end of this video, make sure you guys click that subscribe button so I know you guys want to see more. Anyways, this all starts off back when I was actually funny enough in grade 11. Now, quick reminder, all the stories I tell didn't happen in one school. If you guys don't know, I've actually been to 3 different high schools. So, you know, I've been around, literally and mentally. Anyways, going on, I remember back when I was in grade 11, the high school I went to, a lot of girls were really awkward, but I'm not gonna lie, a lot of them were attractive. And not only that, but there was one time where my buddy walked up to me and he said, yo, Bubba, bro, I'm not gonna lie, man. Trust me, bro. I took all your advice on how to pull girls and I got a girlfriend and she is literally amazing. I remember I looked at him and I did not remember what advice I gave him. So I asked him, wait, sorry, which advice did I give you? And the advice I told him was, honestly, follow your heart and whatever girl you think is best for you, just go with it. He basically ended up repeating that to me and I realized that that advice ended up being taken too literally. You guys will see. Just keep listening. I remember, you know, I was happy for him at first because obviously I didn't know who the girl was. And me and him, we were basically celebrating together. And then he said, yo, Bubba, tonight, if you want, we can go see a movie with my girl and like you can bring your own girl and like we gotta do like a double date thing. Are you down for that? I remember when he said that, I was kind of just not really wanting to go at first because like I'm not one for really double dates. Like I think double dates are the dumbest things ever invented. But at the same time, you know, I was happy for my buddy. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll go, man. He got super happy and ended up walking away. And I know even though I was somewhat happy for him, I realized that this was the most dumbest thing I've ever done. Just keep watching. You'll see why. I remember after school came around and some rumors were going around the school that I was told of that apparently my buddy's sister, the one that got a girlfriend, his sister ended up also getting a new boyfriend. I found it really odd how they both got into a relationship at the same time. But at the same time though, I don't know, maybe it was just fate. It was just a coincidence. I don't know. I didn't really overthink it too much, but a lot of people are saying that since that rumor came out, they're dating each other. Now, I thought it was a joke. I laughed at it a couple of times when people told me about the situation and I just found it hilarious. And then I remember I walked up to one of my buddies and I'm like, dude, you guys hear the rumor that like apparently like he's dating his sister? They all looked at me and they're like, bro, he is. I looked at him like, what do you mean he is? Like, no, he's not. They looked at me again with their eyes wide open saying, dude, he's literally actually dating his sister. Look at his wallpaper when you go to class with him. I remember I looked at both of them and I was like kind of just weirded out, but at the same time I was like, whatever. So I ended up going to my next class and we sat beside each other in that next class. And when I sat beside him, I really wanted to see his phone. Usually he had his phone flipped up, but this time he had his phone flipped down. He only had the camera facing up and he did not show anyone his phone. I remember I asked him like, yo, bro, like, let me see what your girl looks like. He looks at me and he's like, oh, nah, bro, it's a surprise. Trust me. Like, you'll see her tonight. She's on fire. Like, trust me, you'll love her, bro. I remember I looked at him like, so like, where'd you meet this girl? He looks at me and he's like, dude, trust me, man. Like, I met her. Like, it was just fate, man. Like, I don't know. We're just so relatable. No, really? Is what I thought in my head. But at the same time, I remember I looked at him like, dude, I really just want to see this girl now. Like, can you just show me who she is? Because I heard a rumor that you're dating her sister and it's just getting in my mind. I got straight up honest with him. And then he said, you know what, bro? You'll meet her tonight. That's so dumb. People think I'm dating my sister. Anyways, yeah, just you'll meet her tonight. Trust me. Okay, is what I said. And I ended up walking away. When I walked away and saw my other buddies again that told me that he was actually dating his sister, they looked at me and said, bro, so did you see it? Did you see his wallpaper? Remember I looked at both of them and I like literally thought in my mind that he was probably trolling them, saying that like, you know, he was dating his sister just because it was a good rumor going around. It was just, you know, a joke. So I looked at both of them and I said, bro, like he's just trolling you guys. He said, like, trust me, just to kind of get the rumor to rest, because that's what I usually would do. If there was like a really dumb rumor going around, I would just lie about like it being a rumor and just die it down, I guess, if the rumor was true. And anyways, I basically said, oh yeah, like he was just trolling you guys. And they were both like kind of just like confused, but then walked away. Knowing that I put that rumor to rest was a good thing. It was a manly thing to do, or in a way a good friend would do. And then I remember when I went home that day after school, I ended up getting ready and I called like over 6 different girls. One of them was for sure going to pick up for us going to the movies that night. One of them ended up calling me back saying, hey Bubba, like, do you still want to go to that movie tonight? Like, I'm so down. Oh yeah, what time should I pick you up? OMG, like, can you pick me up at like 7-ish if the movie starts at 8? Because like I need like some time to get ready, but at the same time I still want to order popcorn on time. Yeah, I didn't really care why she was telling me that, but I ended up telling her, yeah, so like we gotta be at the theater at like 8 though. Like, you good with that? Like at least 8:30 so we can meet up with him. Wait, him is what she said afterwards. I said, yeah, like we're meeting up with the guy, like, you know. She literally says over the phone, OMG, like, don't you realize that like like he's dating his sister? OMG, bro. How many people was he trolling with this? Is what I said. And I ended up telling her, nah. He's just trolling about that. Trust me. Like, you're good. You're good. She ends up being like, oh, okay. And ends up getting ready. 2 hours later, I end up going to pick her up and we end up driving to the theater. And when I did, I remember I ended up meeting up with my buddy and I saw him there first. I saw him there and I'm like, yo, dude, where's your girlfriend? And his girlfriend ends up being right behind him, and it was his little sister of 2 years. Reminder, this guy was in grade 10, same age as me, and his sister was in grade 8. This was disgusting. I remember I looked at him like, dude, that's your sister. Are you trolling me right now? Because I thought he was joking. I didn't want to believe that he was actually dating his sister. I refuse. He looks at me, he's like, dude, you gotta understand, man, like me and her, we're so relatable, and like, you know, like she's really attractive and like she's great. Dude, that's your sister, is what I told him out loud, screaming in the theater when we were outside the theater. Everyone started looking at us and he looks at me, he's like, dude, tone it down, like chill. Trust me, let's just go see the movie. I'll talk about it there. We ended up going to the theater and I ended up walking with this girl, and this girl that I was with that I brought was so awkwarded out. She didn't want to be there anymore. Like she was grossed out. And then I remember as I was like, you know, going to our chairs and we sat down, we started talking. Me and him, we started talking. I'm like, dude, that's your actual sister. And then he says, yeah, but like, bro, you gotta understand, like I care about her more than anyone, man. That's great, man, but she's your sister. Like, don't you find it gross? I remember his sister was cuddling him as if like they were actually like in a romantic relationship. And then I remember I kind of just started ignoring it and just trying to watch the movie because the movie started. And I remember midway through the movie, as this girl was like cuddling up against me that I had brought, and then the girl that he brought, aka his sister, was cuddling up against him. It was super gross because they ended up kissing in the theater. His own sister that was 2 years younger was making out with her older brother that was 2 years older. I don't know. I was grossed out. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't be there anymore. I literally stood up and I literally said to him, bro, that is your goddamn sister. Everyone in the movie just kind of like went quiet and the lights came on. I remember he looked at me. He's like, dude, like you really had to do that in front of everyone? Yeah. And I'm going to talk to your parents about it. I remember we ended up leaving and we ended up like basically not being friends anymore. And then let's just say he ended up getting his sister pregnant. But you know what? That's a conversation for another time that we don't have to talk about on this channel because this was just straight up incest and disgusting. All right, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba and welcome back to another insane story. So this story is a continuation of the last story time I did about, well, this guy dating his own sister. If you guys haven't seen that story, I highly advise you guys going to go check that out because it honestly was the most insane thing ever. Where we last ended off in that story was basically he ended up telling me, and I ended up finding out, technically speaking, that he was literally dating his own sister. And I remember when I first saw this go down and everything, I panicked and I thought it was gross and I ended up leaving and basically not talking to him anymore. Because for a guy who flexes that he dated his own sister is honestly really gross. But at the same time, I remember a couple months went by and I remember I basically stopped interacting with this dude because, well, everyone in the school knew that he was dating his sister and things got really awkward. But then I remember one time he came to school in kind of like a panic. You know that feeling when you look at someone and you know that their day is just not going good? That's basically what I noticed that was happening to this guy who was dating his sister. So I remember I ended up walking up to him and I basically started talking to him like, hey, like what's going on? Like, I know we haven't talked in a bit and stuff. We can put that behind us, but like, are you okay? He looked at me. He ended up saying, bro, like, honestly, man, like, I know you find me weird for dating my sister, but like things just got really serious between us. And like, you know, I'm kind of like in like a deep hole right now, bro. I ended up looking at him and I told him, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean a deep hole? Is everything all right? And then he ended up saying, bro, I got my sister literally pregnant. At first I looked at him as if he was joking and I literally dabbed him up and said, bro, like relax, bro. Like you're trolling me, bro. Like there's no way. And then he told me, no, bro, like I'm being serious, bro. Like I actually like got her pregnant and I don't know what to do because like I have no idea. The first thing I thought in my mind was, bro, did you not use protection? Because obviously anyone that's doing the devil's tango should be using protection. But in his mind, he didn't care and I guess he was careless and ended up just getting her pregnant. Now, one thing I'm going to teach you guys is that in high school, that doesn't tend to happen to people. People are careless and they end up, you know, basically not having grade A pullout game like I did back in high school. So I remember I told him, bro, like, what are you planning on doing? He said, well, I don't know because our parents don't really want to have the baby because, you know, it's kind of hard to explain how me and her started dating and stuff. But at the same time, I don't know, bro. Like, I might just go back to my hometown and just grow up with the child. First thing I thought was, you're keeping it? Because there is no way that you can have a sibling give birth to your kid. Like, it was the most weirdest thing ever. So I remember I told him, yo, bro, just like go see like a clinic and see what they can do, man. Like, I'll even drive you. Because he couldn't drive at the time. I remember he looks at me with a smile and says, you really really do that with me, bro? And I ended up telling him, yeah, man, like, I'll help you out, sure. Boy, did I regret saying that. Because I remember the next day, he ended up basically calling me up in the middle of the night and said, yo, bro, my girl really needs to see a clinic. Something feels off about her. I remember I ended up basically waking up and basically getting ready and stuff. By the way, it wasn't actually that late. It was only like, I want to say 9:30, almost like 10. And basically, I got up, I ended up getting in my car and everything. And I remember my mom asked me, where are you going, Bubba? And I ended up telling her, I'm going to the hospital. I ended up driving my car over to his place. And basically, when I got there, I ended up parking my car in front of his house. When I did, I remember seeing literally him and his sister come out, and his sister did not look pregnant at all. I remember when they both got in my car, his sister instantly says, wasn't this the guy that literally like made fun of our relationship? And then her brother says, or her boyfriend or whichever said, oh no, like he's here to help, like he's really chill with it, don't worry about it, sweetie. I just have no idea how much I was cringing out when I heard like literally her brother called his own sister sweetie, as if they were an old married couple. Like what? So I remember I basically started driving them to the hospital. Honestly, on the way there, I kept looking at his sister thinking, there is no way this girl's pregnant. She doesn't look pregnant. Because most chicks that are pregnant, they usually have like a big stomach and stuff, right? Like they look fat. But then I remember as I was driving to the hospital, I mentioned, hey, like, yo, is your sister like actually pregnant? Are you guys like just trolling me, bro? Because like, I'm gonna be honest, you don't look pregnant. His sister took huge offense to that, like huge offense, and said, are you saying I'm not pregnant with our baby? Are you serious? Like, who do you think you are? At that moment, I realized that her hormones were going through the roof and she was definitely pregnant. But at the same time, I still had my disbelief. So anyways, I kept driving them to the hospital. I remember when we got there, I parked my car and basically they ended up getting out and I ended up going inside the hospital with them. I remember when we went in there, they ended up having to show their like IDs to basically go inside the hospital to get like, you know, everything situated on the computer. And when the nurse saw that these two were brother and sister and they were literally doing the devil's tango and had to explain how he got his sister pregnant, the nurse looked at me as if I was crazy to even be helping them out. I remember basically like the nurse the entire time was basically trying to ask, so like, where are your parents? I really want to understand the whole situation in general. Should I contact them? I remember when he said that, the brother in the relationship ended up standing up and my buddy ended up yelling at the nurse saying, why would you want to call our parents? Who do you think you are? I'm the patient. You're the nurse. We're not allowed to contact my parents unless I say so. Like, he got so upset and everyone kept looking, and honestly at this point I think everyone knew that these two people were insane. Anyways, going on with the story, I remember basically when we were sitting down in the waiting room, it was a funny comment that a guy made that was beside me and he knew what was going on. He literally said, so like, I'm guessing they're from Alabama. And it was the funniest thing because I ended up laughing because there was a common joke for like, you know, people from Alabama doing with their own cousins. But then in my mind, you know, it's weird thinking he literally got his own sister pregnant. So I remember going on with the story, I kind of just started like basically sitting there and waiting. And the nurse eventually came out and said, can I get the couple that are siblings? I remember everyone in the waiting room started looking around thinking, this is insane. Who is siblings and dating? And basically they stood up and they basically started going to the nurse. I ended up going with them. And when I did, I remember seeing them drag her to a room where you basically scan for the baby and like get like photos and like basically being able to see the baby. I remember when she laid down in that chair and they put this like weird gelatin on her stomach, I was like, bro, there's no way. I think this is gonna be so fake. There's no way. There has to be like air in her stomach or something. And when they started scanning and looking for the baby, they saw a legit child in her stomach that was growing. Like, it was the most weirdest thing ever. And I started thinking, oh my goodness, that is disgusting. And I don't know why, but my buddy at the moment when that was happening, as they were checking on the baby and like, you know, we were basically seeing the baby in a monitor, my friend looked at me and said, Bubba, since you helped out, when she has to give birth, I want you to be the godfather. Huh? What? No, is what I wanted to say. But I ended up saying, oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I got your back. When in reality, I wish I didn't. And it was so awkward because on the way driving them back home, I remember they just kept looking at me thinking, oh, like now he knows and stuff. And it just got super awkward. The baby was not scheduled for another like 6 months to be born. So it was kind of weird. But I can tell you one thing. Every day when he came to school, that guy was attached to me like there was no tomorrow. Since I was the only guy that really understood his situation, or sorry, pretended to understand his situation to the point where he started to really appreciate me. I don't know. It felt nice to have a friend, but knowing that my friend was dating his own sister and got it pregnant is just ultimately disgusting. I remember I was in the shower, then out of nowhere, I looked to the left of me on the toilet and I realized that my friend's sister is sitting right there watching me. And she says, oh, like, do you want me to join you real quick? Like, what? Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba and welcome back to another really embarrassing, but I gotta say crazy story. So this story all takes place back in my high school years. And I remember back when I was in high school, as you guys may know, I say this a lot on the channel, but I was a major player. So me being a player obviously led to me, you know, kind of doing any girl that I was able to kind of pull, which sounds really bad, but you gotta understand, I had no standards back then. That's why there's so many different stories. But going on with this specific story, I remember there was a time where I had a really good friend back when I was in high school, and he was like my closest homie. Like, no joke, me and him would end up doing a lot of dumb things together, which got us into a lot of trouble, don't get me wrong, but we would always go to parties together, go see movies together, and even go on double dates with chicks that we just met that day. Like, we would always go and do this. And I remember one day after we were finished up at a party, he looks over at me and says, yo, Bubba, bro, do you want to just crash at my place? Like, it's totally chill if you want to. I mean, sure, I don't see why not. And as we were on the way to his place, I started to realize that I actually never went to this person's place. Like, even though me and him were really close homies and really like almost best friends, I would say, I never actually went to his house and decided to stay the night. So this was kind of like a first time. And obviously the first time you go to a person's house, you never know what you're going to expect. You're going to expect maybe a crazy smell that you don't like, or maybe sometimes you're going to expect a really dirty house because some people decide to live dirty instead of clean. I don't know. It really just was a shocker when he invited me over unexpectedly, but honestly, I ended up going in there with full confidence that everything was going to be okay. And when I went in there, I ended up seeing the most beautiful thing ever. And believe it or not, it was his sister, not his mom, not his dad, which would be gay if I said that, but literally his sister. When I looked at his sister, I remember she looks over at me and says, oh, did you guys like just get back from a party? Yeah, leave me alone, loser. And me and him, we ended up just walking away. When we got into his bedroom, I ended up saying, yo, bro, why are you so mean to your sister? Like, what did she do? Oh, nothing, man. She's just annoying. Why? What do you think? Now, obviously at this moment, I was not going to say that his sister was hot because, well, that was the first time I ever met his sister. And he knows how much of a player I was in high school. So obviously I ended up saying, oh, nothing. I was just curious. I never seen her before. You never mentioned her. Yeah, I don't like mentioning her because a lot of guys simp for her. It's actually kind of cringe. Yeah, no, I understand. I would never. But boy, did I regret ever saying those words, because what ends up happening next actually kind of blew my mind. I remember me and him, we ended up preparing his bedroom to basically go pass out and, you know, go to sleep. And out of nowhere, my friend's mom ends up walking in saying, oh, Bubba, if you want, you can sleep on the couch downstairs. Like, if you're not comfortable on the floor. I mean, if it's cool with you, yeah, I'll sleep on the couch. My friend ends up looking at me saying, all right, yeah, here's a pillow, here's a blanket. Go pass out, brother. And he ended up basically going on his bed and literally passing out right away. At this moment, I realized that he was a really quick sleeper, but for me, I was never really good at sleeping back when I was younger, and actually still to this day. Like, for me to actually sleep, I have to like watch YouTube videos or watch something to, you know, pass out. So I ended up grabbing out my phone and I ended up watching some videos online, and then out of nowhere, I ended up hearing footsteps coming from the kitchen. Now, when I heard that, obviously I was thinking like it's probably like his mom or dad trying to get like a glass of water, which I understood completely. But then out of nowhere, I ended up seeing his sister coming into the living room saying, oh, like, you're sleeping on the couch? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to sleep on the floor upstairs. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, to be honest, like, I have a double bed. Do you want to like just pass out in my room? Then where are you gonna sleep? Well, I mean, right beside you. Duh. To be honest, I'm good. I'm just gonna pass out here. Okay, you're lost. And she ended up going upstairs with a glass of water. And me at that moment, I started really thinking in my mind of how in the world did she just invite me up to her bedroom? Like, obviously, you guys know that if I went up there, the chances of me doing the devil's tango were really high. But obviously, I didn't do anything. I decided to, you know, be a good friend and respect the bro code and not do anything. But obviously, this would not last, because I remember the next day, me and my friend, we ended up basically, you know, waking up. And when we woke up in the morning, I'm not gonna lie to you, the smell of the party that we went to yesterday was still on us. And I remember my friend's mom saying, oh, Bubba, I was curious, are you gonna be staying here for dinner? I mean, I could, yeah, if you want. I remember at that moment, I look at my friend to see like if it was cool with him as well, and he seemed like he didn't care. So I was like, sure, why not? But then afterwards, out of nowhere, his dad ends up saying, oh, but you guys smell like disgusting. What part did you guys go to last night? You guys need to take a shower. Oh, I mean, I could just head home and quickly take a shower. Oh, no, it's okay. You could just shower here. His mom ends up saying that, and out of nowhere, I started to think, wow, not only is this family really welcoming, but they let me shower in their place. Like, I don't know about you guys, but comment down below if you guys would be comfortable with, you know, showering at a friend's place or at another person's house. For me, I was never really a fan of showering at another person's house, but obviously at that moment they were telling me I stunk and they let me use their shower, and I was already saying that I was gonna stay for dinner, so I decided to basically just say, sure, why not? I remember me and my friend, we went upstairs and we ended up going into his bedroom, and he ended up like, you know, talking to me saying like, oh, like, my parents really like you, and basically complimenting me, which which to be fair, all parents love me. Like, no joke. If there's any girls watching this video, I promise you I could probably make your parents like me because I'm just a likable person, even though I'm the most sussest guy on the internet. But going on with the story, he gave me the clothes that I needed to go take a shower, and he ended up passing me a towel. And as I started heading towards the bathroom, I ended up seeing that his sister's room was wide open, and her like room was right across the bathroom. And I remember she ends up looking at me as I enter inside the bathroom that was across from her room. Now, obviously, she was staring at me pretty weird, and I didn't know why, but honestly, I didn't think too much of it. But then came the crazy part, where I remember as I'm like getting ready to like take off all my clothes and everything, she ends up basically barging in out of nowhere. She barges in saying, hey, like, I have a question. Like, do you think this top is good? Yeah. Yo, listen, I'm about to take a shower. Can we maybe do this after? Oh, you're taking a shower? Yeah. Okay, well, you're not in the shower yet, so it's fine. Okay. Well, I'm gonna use it now, so can you leave? Yeah. Okay, sure, whatever. She ends up leaving the bathroom, and I actually start taking off my clothes, and I end up hopping inside the shower. When I got inside, I remember I ended up seeing like their like faucet and everything, and I started trying to figure out how do I turn on this bathroom shower, because honestly, it was so complicated, and the more I looked into it, I didn't understand how to turn on the water. There were jets coming from like every side of like the shower, and I was so confused on like which one I'm supposed to turn on or like which angle is it. Like, I don't know. It was definitely a bathroom that I did not recognize. But then as I'm trying to figure it out, I ended up looking right beside me, and right beside me was literally his sister on the toilet saying, oh, are you having like some trouble? Yo, wait, what? Bro, what are you doing here? I'm literally not wearing anything. Oh, well, like, I saw you were having trouble and I didn't hear the shower on, so I was just curious what you were doing. You couldn't knock? Well, it's kind of my bathroom. Okay, well, I don't know how to turn on the water, okay? I don't know what I'm doing. As I'm like holding myself, trying to cover myself up, she ends up basically saying afterwards, which honestly blew my mind, oh, like, do you want me to just join you? At that moment, honestly, I didn't know what to say. She already saw basically everything on me, and I'm gonna be honest, she was already in the middle of taking off everything. So she ends up joining me in the shower, and well, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, we ended up doing the Devil's Tango. And I know I broke the bro code, okay? You guys don't have to tell me once or twice. I understand it, but I'm gonna be for real with you. It was in the heat of the moment, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. I remember after we did the Devil's Tango, I ended up going basically straight out of the shower, and I ended up basically getting ready and putting on my clothes, and my hair was still wet, but I dried myself off as fast as I could, and honestly, I go out to my friend's bedroom again, trying to pretend like nothing ever happened. Obviously, he ends up looking at me saying, yo, bro, you took a pretty long shower, man. That was like an hour. Like, you good? Yeah, no, it's just, gotta wash myself properly, you know what I'm saying? Okay, well, finally, I can go use the bathroom now, I guess. And at that moment, he ends up going into the hallway, and he ends up seeing his sister come out of the bathroom with just a towel, and he realizes her hair is wet, and my hair was still wet, and he says to me, yo, wait, what? What the Did you just take a shower with my sister, bro? I remember, like, me and him, we ended up staring at each other, and his sister just interrupts us saying, oh, it's okay. Like, he didn't know how to use the shower, so I just taught him. Like, she's just trying to play it off as if she was doing, like, a friendly act. But I'm gonna be honest with you, my friend definitely knew what happened, and we kind of lost our friendship afterwards. And no, I did not join him for dinner because, well, yeah. I think it kind of makes sense of why I didn't. But honestly, comment down below if you guys would ever do your friend's sister, especially if your friend has a hot sister. But other than that, follow for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.